Good morning, or afternoon, or evening, whenever you're watching this video. I hope you're doing well. Today we are going to look at Lesson 17 in Mission 2. We're going to be using those well-known fact families that we know to help us estimate quotients in our problem. Starting off, we want to look at this problem, 402 divided by 19. We're going to do a little review over the vocabulary. In this problem, which is the whole? That's right, 402 would be our whole amount. Whether we're talking about 402 people, or 402 pieces of candy, or 402 feet that we're splitting up. And 19 is what we call the divisor. That tells us the size of the group that we will be making. So, I know that this is not a problem that we have done yet. We have not started long division, but we are going to look at a strategy that will help us. We are going to start using estimation to figure out that ballpark answer, to figure out if we can get in the neighborhood of our answer. To do that, we're going to estimate the divisor first. When I look at 19, I ask myself, what friendly number is that close to? And immediately I recognize that that is close to 20. So I start asking myself, how can I use that to estimate my number? Now I'm going to look at my whole number, also known as my dividend, and see what multiples of 20 come close to 400. Well, I know that 4 is a multiple of 2. And 40 is a multiple of 20. So that also lets me know that 400 would also be a multiple of 20. So when I estimate, notice how I'm using my squiggly equal sign. When I estimate this problem out to be 400 divided by 20, this becomes an easier problem for me to estimate. When I see that, I'm going to focus in on 4 divided by 2, which is 2. I see that 10 divided by 10 allows me to cancel those zeros out and leaves me with one more zero. This lets me know that the answer to this problem will be in the neighborhood of 20. Let's look at another example. In this problem, we have 149 divided by 71. 149 is our dividend, or our whole, while 71 is our divisor. Since we like to start with our divisor, let's ask ourselves, what is 71 close to? What friendly number is 71 close to? And I'm going to end up with 70. Now I'm going to ask myself, what can I round 149 to help me out with this? Problems like this sometimes come across a little tricky because instantly in your brain, you want to say that 149 is really close to 150, and you're not wrong. It absolutely rounds to 150. However, when estimating our quotients with friendly problems, that would not be helpful. Because when I start listing out my multiples of 7 or my multiples of 70 by just adding a 0, I don't see 150. So that tells me I can't do 150 divided by 70 quickly and easily in my head. But what I do see is 140. So in my head, I can say, well, 149 is definitely closer to 140 than it is 210. So I'm going to fill that in here and start this division problem. Again, I'm going to do 14 divided by 7, which is 2. Now when I look, I know that each 0 represents 10. 10 divided by 10, that allows those to cancel out. And I know that my answer is going to be in the ballpark of 2. All right, let's try a few more practice problems together. I want you to pause your screen and try this one without me. All right, welcome back. When we look at this, we know that our divisor is 58. In our head, we know that 58 is really close to 60. So in working with our estimation, we want to think about multiples of 60. That may sound overwhelming, but all you're looking for is a multiple of 6 in adding a 0. So I'm going to list out my multiples of 6. While adding zeros to them. And I'm going to see just how close to 427 I can get. And pretty quickly I see 420 is really close to 427. So I'm going to go ahead and fill that in to be 420. 420 divided by 60. Now this step over here of listing your multiples, some of you may be able to do that in your head and some of you may not. And either way, that's absolutely fine. I just wanted to show you what Miss Day's thought bubble looked like. Okay, so when we come back to our problem, 420 divided by 60. You can instantly start off by saying 10 divided by 10. We'll get rid of those zeros. Now all we're left to look at is 42 divided by 6, which is 7. Now it's important to remember that 7 is not the exact answer for 427 divided by 58. However, our answer should be in the neighborhood, in the ballpark of 7. So perhaps I ended up with an answer of 8. That would tell me I'm close. But if I ended up with an answer of 72, that's way too far away. Now, I don't know the answer right off the top of my head because today we're only focused on estimating. Okay, let's do another one. Again, pause your screen. Try this on your own scratch paper or even in your head and see what you come up with. All right, it's time to check. We know that 42 is going to be close to 40. When I'm looking at 40, again, in my head or on a piece of paper off to the side, my thought bubble tells me to list out my multiples of 40, which are just my multiples of 4 increased to place value spot. 40, 80, 120, 160, 200, 240, 280, 320. So when we get to this spot, we see that 280 is going to be the closest number for us to work with. Now, yes, 293 is definitely closer to 300, and it's definitely closer to 290. However, those are not happy common facts that are going to help us make an estimation. So we are not going to use those in this estimation. When I start dividing, I see that I can do 10 divided by 10 and cancel my zeros. Now I have 28 divided by 4 remaining. And we know that equals 7. So again, our answer will be in the neighborhood of 7. Let's try one last problem. 751 divided by 93. Go ahead and pause and try to do this on your own. All right. 93. I know that you really want to round that to 100, but to help us out, we are just going to round that to be 90. When I think about my multiples of 90, I'm thinking about my multiples of 9, and I am adding a 0. I'm listing them all out, either in my head or on a piece of paper, until I figure out how close to 751 I can get. And I see that 720 is pretty close to 751. So I'm going to draw my little approximation symbol again and write 720 divided by 90. Hopefully right off the bat you see that you can do 10 divided by 10 and get rid of those zeros. Now, it is important to note that that is not always going to work when you include decimals. We are just looking at whole numbers today. So 720 divided by 90. We got rid of those zeros by saying 10 divided by 10. Now let's focus on 72 divided by 9. 72 divided by 9. We come back over here and see it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9 times 8 is 72. So that tells me my answer is in the ballpark of 8. All right, that's your lesson for today. I want you to go ahead and either go to your Google slide that's on Google Classroom and fill out your answers on the computer, or do your work packet that was sent home with your problem set on lesson 17. Don't forget to do a Zearn lesson when you are done with that. See you tomorrow.